Well, hello everybody and welcome to Jeff's Baking Blog. Today I'm going to make some ginger cream sandwich biscuits. So 2 little ginger biscuits which are crisp and crumbly, and in between there's going to be just a nice cream type filling made of butter, soft cheese and icing sugar. Very simple to make and it doesn't take much time, so I'll go straight onto the ingredients. I have 225 grams of plain flour. That's 1.5 cups based on scooping packed flour into a 250 milliliter cup. I have 175 grams, which is 3/4 of a cup plus 2 tablespoons of demerara sugar. If you don't have demerara, you could use light brown sugar or you could use granulated sugar. It's just that this sugar will help the biscuits to be that little bit more crisp and crumbly. Then I have 1 medium egg, which would be large in the USA, 15 millilitres, 1 tablespoon of milk, 4 grams, which is 2 teaspoons of ground ginger, 5 grams, which is 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and I have 100 grams, which is slightly over 7 tablespoons of but unsalted butter, which is chilled and cubed, so that's cold. And then for the filling I have 75 grams, which is 5.5 tablespoons of softened unsalted butter, 75 grams, 5 tablespoons of soft cheese, and 140 grams, 1.25 cups of icing sugar. And I don't need those yet, so I can put those to one side. And we'll go on to make the biscuit dough. And I'm going to do this in the processor bowl of my immersion blender, but you could do it by hand if you wanted to. And first of all, I'm going to put my ginger and my baking powder into the flour, just so that I can give those a bit of a stir around to get those spread about a bit. Like that. And then I'm going to put that into my food processor bowl and add the sugar as well. And I'm just going to give that a quick blitz to get those combined with each other. That's good enough like that. And then I'm going to add in my chilled butter, and I'm going to give those chunks just a stir into the butter to coat them. It just makes it easier for processing without too much butter sticking to the side of the bowl. And I'm going to pulse that and blitz it until the mixture resembles sort of a fine breadcrumb. And that's quite good like that. So I'm just going to put my milk into my egg, and I'm going to break the egg up and mix that in. And I'm going to put that into the flour mixture, and I'm going to mix that until it starts to come together into a dough. So that's mixed together quite well now, and it didn't take very long at all. So I'm actually going to tip that out back into the bowl that I was originally using, just so that I can squeeze it all together So as I say, you can do this all by hand. You don't need to use the processor. You can rub the butter into the dry ingredients between your tips of your fingers. So with that, like that, I'm going to just cover that, and I'm going to chill it for about 15 minutes. And while I'm chilling it, I'm going to preheat my oven to 180 Celsius. That's 160 Celsius with a fan, 350 Fahrenheit, and line a couple of baking trays with some parchment paper. So while the oven is preheating and the pastry and the biscuit dough is chilling, I thought I'd go on to make the filling. So I'm going to put my icing sugar into a bowl, and I'm going to add into that the butter and the soft cheese or cream cheese. And then I'm going to cream them together until they come into a nice mixture, and that's all there is to it. But then I can put that into the fridge and chill that a little bit as well. So that's mixed together nice and fluffy now. So I'm going to put that into the fridge as well. And that can then chill until we need it. So the dough has chilled now for about 20 minutes, and my oven is preheated. So I'm going to measure this out into 36 pieces, and that should be about a heaped teaspoon. And I want it to be, in weight terms, maybe 16 grams, just slightly under 16 grams. And so that's that much, that weighs 16 grams. And I'm going to roll that into a bowl and put it on my baking tray, like that. And I'm going to do the same with the remainder. So again, about that much is 16 grams. So here I have 30 of the dough balls arranged, and I have another 6 separately, and I'm actually just going to press each one down just a little bit. That's my own preference, just to flatten the top. And I'm going to put those into the oven. And I'm going to bake them for 12 minutes. Then I take them out of the oven, leave them a couple of minutes, and then transfer them onto a wire rack to cool completely. And once they've cooled completely, I'll come back and we'll sandwich 2 biscuits each time together with a little bit of the filling that we've made. So I baked the biscuits for 12 minutes, and I actually left mine in for another 2 minutes because I thought perhaps the centre wasn't quite going to crisp up enough. So I left them for 2 minutes, but I think it depends on how your oven is operating basically. So, and then I took them out and I've allowed them to cool down. So I've paired them up, and I'm going to take maybe this amount of my filling and put it onto the underside of half of the biscuits. And then I'm going to spread the mixture over the base like that, and I'm going to press another biscuit onto it like that. And so with the biscuits filled, I would normally just put them in the fridge for 15 minutes or so for the filling to firm up a little bit, and then I'd be ready to eat them. But for the purposes of this video, I'm going to taste one now. The biscuit is nice and crunchy and light, and it has a nice subtle ginger flavour. If you wanted more ginger, you could put more in, but I get the nice subtle ginger flavour, and then the sweetness of that filling, which would be slightly better if it firms up a little bit. And if you want it even firmer, you can actually add more icing sugar in, which will help it firm up that little bit more. So these are very easy to make and very, very tasty, and I think they will last for about 3 days if they're stored in an airtight container, but they have the dairy product in them, so if I put them in an airtight container, I would then put them in my fridge as well. So that's going to be it for this recipe, and I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have, please give me the thumbs up below and click to subscribe to my YouTube channel. In the top right hand corner there will be an eye that you can click on, and that will take you to a link for the recipe, and I'll put a link below the video as well, and I'll be back with another recipe in the very near future. So until then, happy baking.